This clumsy little dog had been rejected by everyone since the moment he was born. His grandfather looked at him and predicted he wouldn't live more than 3 days. But his grandmother couldn't resist picking him up and feeding him, treating him like a child. Seeing his grandmother so happy, his grandfather said nothing more. Under his grandmother's care, the little dog grew bigger day by day, but he remained as clumsy as ever. When it was time to eat, by the time he made it to the food, the plate was already empty. A month passed, and the dog grew much bigger. His grandparents became busy with farm work and couldn't take care of so many puppies. So they decided to send them to relatives. The mother dog could only watch as her puppies were taken away. But perhaps because he was too clumsy and too skinny, this little dog became the only one left behind. But the happiness didn't last long. One day, while the dog was playing in the field, a fierce large dog appeared suddenly. To protect him, the mother dog immediately stepped in front. The sound of tearing could be heard from the field, and the grandfather hurriedly dropped his tools and ran over. By the time he reached the scene, the mother dog had already fallen and could never wake up. Afterward, the little dog and his grandfather slowly came to accept the reality. When his grandmother worked in the garden, he followed her, catching grasshoppers. When his grandfather worked the fields, he played with mud beside him. In the evenings, he always followed them home. Soon, the little dog grew up, and he started leading the way for his grandparents. He was very obedient, always staying with them in the fields. At meal times, he would never be late. When his grandfather ate ham, he would share a piece with him, making his grandmother laugh like a child. Time quietly passed as his grandmother petted him. One night, his grandmother quietly passed away. The little dog lay in the yard, knowing that his grandmother would never return. His grandfather came to his side, gently petting him and speaking many words about his grandmother. A few days later, the grandfather's children, worried about him being alone at home, decided to send him to a nursing home. The grandfather couldn't bear to part with the dog, so he squatted down and said a final goodbye, tears falling onto the little dog's nose. The dog licked him, trying to comfort him. When the car door closed, the dog realized it was the final farewell. He barked loudly, trying to stop his grandfather, but there was no response. Panicked, he kept barking and calling for his grandfather, but he couldn't speak, struggling desperately when the chain broke loose. He immediately jumped over the fence and followed the scent of his grandfather. He ran with all his might, as though willing to give his life just to find him. However, a sudden heavy rain washed away the last traces of the scent. Unable to track the scent anymore, he wandered aimlessly for several days before finally returning home, exhausted. But when he arrived, he found several strangers in the yard. He angrily lunged at them, trying to drive them away. But he didn't realize the house had already been sold. To the workers, he was the intruder. A man with a shovel came over and quickly drove him out. From that moment on, he became homeless. He climbed a small hill and looked at the once familiar village. And so, he began his life as a stray.